Today is Thursday, June 30th, 2022. Let us take a look at today's crypto headlines. Ethereum faces crash to $600 as crypto bear persists. Bitcoin nears worst monthly losses since 2011 with BTC price at $19,000. $4 billion crypto scammer added to FBI's most wanted list. Grayscale sues SEC over spot Bitcoin ETF application rejection. 3 Arrows Capital caught lying to Singapore authorities. Please like, subscribe and turn on the notification button to keep supporting our channel. Ethereum faces crash to $600 as crypto bear persists. Ethereum has dipped below a critical area of support, hinting that further losses could be on the horizon. Ethereum looks like it's at risk of a steep correction as crypto's rocky June draws to a close. Market participants are rushing to exchanges to exit their positions, while Ethereum is sitting on little to no support. Ethereum faces lower lows. Ethereum looks primed for a significant price movement as selling pressure accelerates. The number 2 cryptocurrency has suffered from a price drop of over 20% over the past 4 days. It was trading at a local high of $1,280 on June 26 before dipping as low as $1,015. Notably, Ethereum broke below the crucial $1,000 level on June 18, and the losses could extend further as downward pressure appears to be on the rise. On-chain data from Glassnode shows that the number of Ethereum held on known cryptocurrency exchange wallets has significantly increased. Nearly 193,000 ETH worth. Roughly $200 million has flowed into trading platforms since June 26. The spike in the balance held on exchanges coincides with the recent downward price action, hinting at a sell-off. Moreover, transaction history shows that Ethereum lacks the demand it needs to prevent further losses. Ethereum's next significant support level is at $600, where 12.8 million addresses hold 9.55 million ETH. This interest zone is crucial as market participants may sell their holdings in a bid to prevent their investments from going out of the money. The most critical resistance level for Ethereum is currently at $1,120, where 468,000 addresses have previously purchased over 7 million ETH. A daily candlestick close above this hurdle could invalidate the pessimistic outlook, potentially leading to a surge to $1,300 or even $1,500. Bitcoin nears worst monthly losses since 2011 with BTC price at $19,000. Bitcoin price action will seal monthly losses over 40% for the first time in 11 years if it closes at $19,000. Bitcoin, BTC, drifted further downhill into the June 30th Wall Street open as United States equities opened with a whimper. US dollar returns to multi-decade highs. Data from Cointelegraph Markets Pro and TradingView followed BTC, USD as it abandoned $19,000 to hit its lowest in over 10 days. Bulls failed to preserve either $20,000 or $19,000 at the hands of limp U.S. stock market moves, the S&P 500 and Nasdaq Composite Index down 1.8% and 2.6%, respectively, at the time of writing. At the same time, the U.S. dollar once again staged a comeback to fix a trajectory toward 20-year highs seen this quarter. The U.S. dollar index, DXY, was above 105.1 on the day, coming within just 0.2 points of its highest levels since 2002. The US dollar, DXY, looks set to test highs last seen in December 2002 as the short-term downtrend is broken convincingly amid risk markets' continued crumble, researcher and trader Faisal Khan summarized on Twitter. Data on inflation, meanwhile, once more suggested the worst could be behind the market. However, central banks began to acknowledge that the low rates seen before COVID-19 may never return. Bull's worst month in 11 years. With the majority of on-chain metrics now at historic lows, price data hinted how far BTC could theoretically go in a bear market increasingly unlike the rest. Should it close at current levels of $19,000, BTC, USD would seal monthly losses of over 40% for June 2022. That would make it the worst June ever and the heaviest monthly losses since September 2011. Data from TradingView and on-chain monitoring resource CoinGlass confirms. Even March 2020 and the 2018 and 2014 bear markets were less severe on monthly timeframes. 40% drops were last seen when BTC, USD traded at $8. $4 billion crypto scammer added to FBI's most wanted list. Crypto Queen has been on the run for more than 5 years. Ruja Ignatova has been added to the FBI's 10 Most Wanted list for allegedly scamming investors out of $4 billion through OneCoin. Wanted for $4 billion scam. The hunt for crypto queen is intensifying. Today the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, added Ruja Ignatova, better known in the crypto space as Crypto Queen, to its 10 Most Wanted list for, allegedly, defrauding investors of billions. Charges against Ignatova include conspiracy to commit wire fraud, conspiracy to commit money laundering, conspiracy to commit securities fraud, and securities fraud. The FBI is offering up to $100,000 in reward for information leading to Ignatova's arrest. It warns that she may be traveling with armed bodyguards and associates. Ignatova is the co-founder of OneCoin, a Bulgarian cryptocurrency Ponzi scheme that is believed by prosecutors to have defrauded its victims of over $4 billion. OneCoin would sell educational trading packages to investors for up to six-figure sums. These packages included tokens that could be used to mine OneCoins. OneCoins could only be exchanged for other currencies on the OneCoin exchange, which shut down without notice in January 2017. Ignatova was the leader of the organization from 2014 to October 2017, at which point her brother Konstantin Ignatov took her place. Ignatov and another OneCoin co-founder, Sebastian Greenwood, were arrested in 2019 and 2018 respectively. Ignatov, who pleaded guilty to charges similar to those against Ignatova, faces up to 90 years in prison. Ignatova, a Bulgarian citizen, disappeared in October 2017 in Athens, Greece. The FBI believes she could be traveling on a German passport. She was the subject of a BBC podcast series entitled The Missing Crypto Queen. She was recently added to Europol's Most Wanted list as well. Money laundering and wire fraud have been persistent issues within the crypto space. Major crypto exchange Binance was recently accused of letting European crime syndicates, Russian drug dealers, and North Korean hackers process their funds through the platform. Grayscale sues SEC over spot Bitcoin ETF application rejection. The world's largest Bitcoin fund has blamed the securities regulator for failing to apply equal treatment to similar investment products and alleged that it broke the law. The world's largest digital asset manager, Grayscale, has filed a lawsuit against the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission after the regulator rejected its application to convert its flagship Bitcoin trust fund into an exchange-traded fund. Grayscale challenges SEC in court. Grayscale has filed a lawsuit against the SEC in a bid to have its verdict blocking the conversion of the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust into a spot Bitcoin exchange-traded fund repealed. In a third-day press release, the world's largest digital assets manager announced that it had filed a petition for review before the U.S. Court of Appeals, challenging the agency's decision to deny the conversion of its flagship GBTC product to a spot Bitcoin ETF. The petition for review came hours after the SEC published its rejection of the firm's long-requested application, citing failure to meet numerous requirements under the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. In the rejection order, the financial regulator argued that Grayscale had not done enough to protect investors and the public from fraudulent and manipulative acts and practices. Specifically, the agency cited long-standing concerns about the lack of a surveillance sharing agreement between a listing exchange and a regulated market of significant size that it says is necessary to detect and deter fraudulent and manipulative activity. Commenting on the SEC's decision, Grayscale's senior legal strategist and former U.S. Solicitor General, Donald B. Verrilli Jr., said that the SEC has failed to apply consistent treatment to similar investment vehicles, and had therefore acted arbitrarily and capriciously, in violation of the relevant laws. There is a compelling, common-sense argument here, and we look forward to resolving this matter productively and expeditiously, he said. Grayscale applied to have its GBTC investment trust converted into a spot Bitcoin ETF in October 2021, keeping in talks with the SEC following the application while publicly threatening legal action if its application got denied. Shares of the trust, which is supposed to track Bitcoin's price, are currently trading at discount of roughly 28.4% to the fund's net asset value. That's because GBTC shares are not redeemable for the underlying Bitcoin holdings, preventing potential arbitrageurs from taking advantage of the price disparities by redeeming shares. Converting GBTC, the single largest Bitcoin investment vehicle, currently custodying over 3.4% of all Bitcoin in circulation, into an ETF would allow investors to redeem GBTC shares for the underlying Bitcoin, eventually bringing the fund's share price to its intended parity with Bitcoin's price. However, the SEC seems to believe that the apparent benefits of approving Grayscale's application do not outweigh the potential harms for Bitcoin and GBTC investors. It remains to be seen whether the U.S. Court of Appeals agrees. Three Arrows Capital caught lying to Singapore authorities. The distressed hedge fund reportedly misled the Monetary Authority of Singapore over the firm's management and ownership. The Monetary Authority of Singapore has reprimanded Three Arrows Capital for providing false ownership information and exceeding the country's permitted assets under management threshold. MAS reprimands Three Arrows Capital. Three Arrows Capital is in hot water with authorities in Singapore. The Singapore-based hedge fund, co-founded in 2012 by classmates Su Zhu and Kyle Davies, has been reprimanded by the Monetary Authority of Singapore, MAS, for providing false and misleading information. A Thursday media release from the MAS has accused Three Arrows Capital of deliberately misleading the agency over its management and ownership. According to the release, the fund transferred management to an unrelated offshore entity on September 1, 2021. However, this new entity was also partly owned by Three Arrows Zoo, a fact that the fund did not disclose to Singapore authorities. Additionally, the MAS has stated that Three Arrows failed to inform the agency of changes in the directorships and shareholdings of Zhu and Davies in a timely fashion. The release also states that the fund breached the permitted assets under management threshold of around $179 million for registered fund management companies on two separate occasions. At its peak, Three Arrows is estimated to have held assets valued at upwards of $10 billion. The scrutiny from the MAS comes as Three Arrows grapples with an insolvency crisis. On Wednesday, the fund was ordered by a British Virgin Islands court to liquidate its assets in order to pay back its creditors. While the full extent of Three Arrows' debt is still unknown, crypto exchange Voyager Digital recently revealed that the fund had defaulted on a $665 million debt consisting of 15,250 Bitcoin and $350 million worth of the USDC stablecoin. While the MAS has currently only reprimanded the firm for minor violations, the media release leaves the door open to further action. In light of recent developments which call into question the solvency of the fund managed by Three Arrows Capital, MAS is assessing if there were further breaches of MAS regulations, the agency said. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on the notification button so that you won't miss any updates.